Chasik and his mother were relieved, but then the doctor returned with serious news. A scan showed Chasik had a lumbar disc separation in his lower back. From now on, any intense physical activity was out of the question. He had just broken a national record, only to be forced into early retirement. Chasik tried to laugh it off, saying it was fine. But his mother could see right through his forced smile. While wandering, he happened to see Yusul, who had also lost her dream when the accident took her eyesight and ended her ability to play piano. Perhaps because of that shared pain, Chasik instinctively knew where she was headed. He stopped her. And not only that, he fiercely scolded her back to her senses. When Chasik looked at his mother's broken umbrella, it felt like he was staring at himself, a person who had lost all worth once his talent was gone. Back home, Chasik fell into a sigh of relief. Thankfully, her son wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer. Otherwise, her little story might not have worked. Late at night, with a renewed sense of purpose, the boy ran joyfully through the streets. Staring at a poster of his father, he made up his mind. He would study piano seriously and bring the family back together. Meanwhile, Yusul, who had always followed her mother's plans without question, finally spoke her own mind. She said she no longer wanted to play the piano. From now on, she wanted to make her own choices in life. Early the next morning, a new student arrived at the arts high school. It was Chasik, the sports student of over 10 years, now determined to switch to piano. The department head couldn't believe it. On the other side of campus, Yusul, who had lost her eyesight in the car accident, was also going through changes. Once obedient, she now showed signs of rebellion, arguing with her mother and insisting on walking to school alone. What Yusul didn't know was that someone was watching her from afar. Jimak, the very boy who once cursed her, seeing her current state, filled him with guilt. It was Yusul's first time walking outside alone since the accident. Carefully feeling her way forward, she tapped along the walls, moving slowly. A car stopped her, but her mother, Yusul, told him to go home. Jimak watched as she walked a few steps, then turned back to talk to thin air. From that day, he began helping her in quiet, unnoticed ways. Swiping her bus card, clearing her path, even fixing her slippers. One of their classmates, an eager gossip, spotted it all. This sight of former rivals now helping one another so gently was sure to cause a lot of trouble. Because of Yusul's limited mobility, the teacher decided to assign her an assistant. But no one volunteered. Everyone thought it was too much trouble. "I'll help you, Yusul," came a sudden voice. It was Jimak, who not only stepped forward, but submitted a 20,000-word application to explain why he should be chosen. Though he insisted it was only for extra credit. No one quite believed him. But Yusul refused. She was sure he had some hidden motive. Suddenly, a loud voice echoed through the classroom. "Yusul, I'll help you too." It was Chasik, who'd been loitering around the school and hadn't left. Then came the most dramatic moment yet. Chasik dropped to his knees and declared his loyalty, saying he would become a knight to protect his beautiful princess. Jean-Marc was completely stunned. Wasn't a knight supposed to kneel on one knee? Why did Chasik look like he was about to propose? Seeing he was about to be kicked out, Chasik quickly explained he'd take good care of Yusul. He would escort her to and from school every day, take notes for her in my own choice. Yusul interrupted, cool and calm. From that moment on, Chasik became the giant wall standing between Jean-Marc and Yusul. And so, this clueless goofball somehow ended up auditing the elite piano class. Today was Chasik's first day as Yusul's assistant. But when the two of them stood together, most classmates thought it looked like a cheerful idiot paired with someone perpetually annoyed. Chasik, who knew absolutely nothing about music or piano, struggled hard. He couldn't even follow the class, much less help Yusul take notes. Just sitting there made his head hurt. He soon realized that even just reading musical terms out loud was a nightmare. His pronunciation was awful, and laughter often erupted around him. His cluelessness only worsened Yusul's already sour mood. After class, Jean-Marc pulled Yusul aside. "Why would you pick a total idiot over me as your helper?" Yusul calmly responded, Because you're even more annoying. John Mark finally understood just how much she couldn't stand him. Chasik went out of his way to install a back seat on his bicycle to take Yusul to school. But she refused. Her mother had strictly forbidden her from riding bikes. She also made it clear she only chose a helper because the teacher required it. Chasik was just an audit student. They both had their own reasons, and there was no need to interfere in each other's lives. They barely walked into a wall. 3 times. At 7 a.m., Chasik's mom came to wake him up, only to find his room covered in handwritten notes on musical theory and piano techniques. Chasik had been waking up hours early to study. He even buried himself in the library on weekends, surrounded by books, diligently making progress. Despite struggling, he seemed genuinely happy. He even tried to see having someone always talking beside her might make the darkness feel a little less lonely. No one knew. Chasik was the one who most needed comfort. He had lost the athleticism he had ever tried to do was bring warmth to others. He knew Yusul had never once ridden a bicycle in her life. Every now and then, he hoped she might try, but she refused him every single time. After walking her to the street corner, Chasik turned around to head home, just like always. He heard a dog barking, followed by Yusul's frightened scream. Blind and helpless, Yusul had been attacked by a vicious stray dog. The dog lunged, knocking her to the ground. The dog's owner, seeing she was blind, had the audacity to twist the story. He claimed she had struck the dog with her cane and demanded compensation. Seeing Yusul, and she felt joy she had never known before. But just as they reached her house, a familiar voice rang out. It was her mother. Yusul dropped her cane. Her mother, smiling, warmly thanked Chasik and brought Yusul inside. Chasik bent down to pick up the cane, intending to return it. But before he could knock, he overheard the fierce argument inside. Her mother was furious. She scolded Yusul not just for riding a bike, but slapped her across the face. "I gave up everything for you," she shouted. "And this is how you repay me?" Yusul finally exploded. All her life, she had been crushed by her mother's endless expectations that left her gasping for air. She had done something just for herself. That short bike ride made her feel a freedom she'd never known. "There's so much I still want to do," she said through tears. "I want to see the mountains. I want to see the ocean. I want to watch the sunset." Yusul didn't want to live the life her mother arranged for her. Not anymore. And she certainly didn't want to live carrying resentment toward the person who raised her. Her mother looked at the wall, lined with her daughter's trophies and certificates, evidence of 10 years of glory. Like this video and comment for part 3.